que Lloyd Austin compareció ante el Senado, ante el Congreso, y la verdad es que le fue terriblemente mal, muy mal. El legislador republicano Matt Gaetz le sacó verdaderamente datos que Lloyd Austin tuvo que admitir. El F-35 en realidad es una estafa, decía él, de Lockheed Martin, y ha sido costosísima para los Estados Unidos. El video no tiene desperdicio, se lo voy a dejar completo y ahorita vamos a verlo.
But I want to bring us now closer to home and the F-35 program. Is the F-35 program a failure?
No, it's...
Okay, so let's go over how much does an F-35 cost?
Well, it depends on the variant, but...
100 million? Safe to say? 100 million a copy? Okay, so we just had the Air Force in here, and I said, what percentage of these F-35s are fully mission capable? And they said 29%. Do you have any basis to disagree with that assessment?
I don't have any basis to disagree with the Secretary.
So at 100 million a copy, 29% being fully mission capable, does that seem low to you?
It's a complex airframe, and again, there are a number of reasons why a platform could be not operational at any one given time. But
right, but I mean, how
having
many?
Said that, it is one of the best aircraft in the inventory.
The best aircraft in the inventory. Well, Mr. Secretary, there's a GAO report that takes a very different view. Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter the GAO report entitled F-35 sustainment costs will continue to rise while planned use and availability have decreased.
Without objection, so ordered.
It reads, costs to sustain the F-35 fleet keep increasing from $1.1 trillion in 2018 to $1.58 trillion in 2023. Yet DoD plans to fly the F-35 less than originally estimated, partly because of reliability issues with the aircraft. The F-35's ability to perform its mission has also trended downward over the last 5 years. Is there any of that in the GAO report that you disagree with?
I don't. No.
Okay, so how many $100 million paperweights do we own?
I would not categorize the F-35 as a paperweight.
Well, if it's not mission capable, if it's, what do we just stare at it and admire it?
We continue to work to make sure that we get our aircraft operational and continue to. And many,
I don't know. Don't you think at 100 million a clip, more than 29% should be fully operational? And if the fact that we can't get them operational, you know what Secretary Kendall said when he was sitting in that chair? He said the core root of the problem is that we had let Lockheed Martin build this thing, and then we gave Lockheed Martin the full system performance contract, and they keep bilking us according to the GAO, and we sit around staring at $100 million airplane that can't fully perform the mission, and you're sitting here telling me it's not a failure. Just own up to it, Mr. Secretary. Just say, this airframe has not delivered, it's too costly, it's not being utilized as we should, and we should never again make the mistake of doing a full system performance contract with the very person who built the aircraft. Could we agree to that?
I agree. In the future, we should have a different approach. I'm sure that Secretary Kendall also told you
I think the committee is going to help
things
you
that he
move
was
to
doing
that
to get the
approach quite quickly.
Yeah.
Les fue terriblemente mal. Y bueno, o sea, es un pisapapeles, dice, o sea, no sirve, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Quedárnoslos mirando. Y es que Lockheed Martin lo hizo y Lockheed Martin evalúa la efectividad. Cuando salen los datos, el 29% logra completar una misión y el otro 71% no. Lo que pasa es que cada juguetito cuesta $100 millones. Ahí está.
Well, Boeing has a big problem on its hands. Why are Boeing planes falling out of the sky, doors falling off mid-flight, and former Boeing whistleblowers winding up dead in parking lots? Shot in the head. Some good questions there, right? Did someone get a little too close to telling the truth? More on that part of the story here in a second. But first, during our show last night, if you're keeping track at home like Boeing bingo cards at home, here's the latest Boeing problem and potential tragedy. 50 people injured after a Boeing 787 suddenly fell out of the sky, plummeted towards the ground. Didn't crash, but 50 people were hurt. Boeing says there was, quote, a technical event during the flight, which caused a strong movement. A technical event? Hold on. An event is something that's planned, right? Something you put on your calendar, like my daughter had a school performance today.
One of the things that they said is, yes, it dropped very suddenly, and the people who were not wearing their seatbelts got thrown against the ceiling. And so, let that be a cautionary tale to the rest of us, to keep your seatbelt fastened while you're not roaming around the cabin.
Yeah, we don't know.
Okay.
But Boeing has not been cooperating with the NTSB and hiding information about the most recent disaster when the door ripped off the Alaskan Airlines flight. The NTSB, hey, we need names of the people that worked on these doors, build the doors, and we need them, please. You need to give all of us, we need this information so we can do our investigation. And they're not coming forward. They haven't come forward with that information. Watch.
New scrutiny on Boeing. The Justice Department is now investigating the mid-air door blowout captured on camera in January. Transportation correspondent Gio Benitez is here with more. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Michael. Good morning. Yeah, multiple sources are telling ABC News the DOJ is now investigating that door plug blowout. You see that video right there. You remember, of course, when that door plug flew off a Boeing 737 MAX 9 in January, while the Alaska Airlines flight was 16,000 feet in the air. The plane made an emergency landing, and while no one was hurt, the DOJ wants to know if Boeing violated its 2021 deferred prosecution agreement. That's when the DOJ was investigating Boeing for those two MAX crashes in 2018 and 2019 that killed more than 300 people.
So the NTSB requested specific information, and Boeing had been stonewalling them up until just recently. Another Boeing whistleblower has suddenly died. Stop me if you've heard this before. They keep dropping like flies. Now, if you're keeping track at home, that's 2 whistleblowers in 2 months that have now died. And these aren't some like low-level guys. These are guys who were blowing the whistle on major structural problems with the 737 MAX planes. Now, the whistleblower, his name is Joshua Dean, accused a Boeing supplier of ignoring defects in the production of the 737 MAX plane. He died suddenly. He was 45 years old. That's 2 years younger than me. Perfectly normal, I guess, to die at 45 years old. Dean's lawyer, Brian Knowles, said his client's death was, quote, a loss to the aviation community and the flying public.
Now, we should be clear, for those of you who were paying attention, just a couple weeks ago, we said there's a new Boeing whistleblower. He did testify before Congress, and we said, let's protect this guy. This is not the same guy.
Totally different
That guy was Sam Salahpour.
Yeah.
And as far as we know, everybody together, we're knocking on wood. Are you doing it?
Knock on wood for Sam.
I think he's still alive. Let's protect him. Unfortunately, we didn't look out for Joshua.
We didn't even know about Joshua.
We didn't know about Joshua Dean. We would have also sent a prayer for him.
So he, according to his lawyer, he possessed tremendous courage to stand up for what he felt was true and right and raised quality and safety issues with Boeing. Again, to his lawyer, aviation companies should encourage and incentivize those that do raise these concerns. Otherwise, safety and quality are truly not the company's top priorities. Now, another message that I wanted to read here from this one, 45-year-old Joshua Dean, a former mechanical engineer quality auditor from Wichita, Kansas, alleged that Spirit Airlines leadership ignored the malfunctioning defects on the 737 MAX that he brought to their attention, including mechanics improperly drilling holes in the aft pressure bulkhead of the MAX. So there's giant holes just right in the bulkhead.
That doesn't sound good. I mean, I'm not a manufacturer of airplanes, but I don't like the sound of that.
Something tells me in a pressurized cabin environment, that's not something you want, is holes drilled
Pretty
into
sure that's undesirable.
Bulkhead. When he brought this up with the management, he said that nothing was done about it. And so he filed a safety complaint with the FAA. So he brought it to his superiors and nothing. They didn't do anything about it. So then he had to go to the FAA and bring it up there. And he said that basically Spirit had used him as a scapegoat when they lied to the agency about the defects of all of this. Now, he's a former Spirit Aero Systems employee who said he was fired in retaliation for flagging all of these lax standards. So he was then fired in the company's Wichita, Kansas manufacturing plant. So he died this week after a sudden illness. His aunts and sisters said in posts on social media that it was tied to a MRSA vaccine or an infection related to MRSA. Now, his family said, they posted on social media, that he died from a fast-moving infection, but he was otherwise in good health. Like he got pneumonia suddenly after this infection, boom, he was dead like that.
Yes, they did use the word sudden and fast spreading. Okay.
So, okay, we've had a number of these near disasters over the past few months. I mean, every day almost, I feel like in our newsletter, we're cataloging another Boeing disaster, another Boeing Air problem, a tire falling off, a wing not opening, or not the flap not working properly. He told NPR back in February, by the way, Dean did, that he believed he'd been fired to send a message to others that were thinking about speaking out. He said, if you're too loud, we will silence you, was his message. So he told that to NPR. So yeah, of course, that is the case with other whistleblowers. Now, you'll recall, before we look at, the details of some of the other reporting on this, let's remind ourselves what happened to the last Boeing whistleblower, John Barnett. John Barnett, he was, of course, shot dead in his car in a parking lot while he was in the process of testifying about the problems at Boeing. Even mainstream media reported that he warned his friend that he would not be committing suicide anytime soon.
I know that he did not commit suicide. There's no way.
First tonight, our investigative reporter Ann Emerson has new information in the death of Boeing whistleblower John Barnett. A close family friend of Barnett says he predicted he might wind up dead, that a story could surface that he killed himself. But he told her, don't believe it. Ann?
Tessa, Barnett's family friend Jennifer said they had talked about this exact scenario playing out, but his words seemed like a premonition. He told her, don't...
Las imágenes que ves en pantalla no fueron alteradas de ninguna manera, y la traducción es fidedigna. Y es que parece increíble, pero soldados ucranianos han decidido amenazar al candidato presidencial de los Estados Unidos, Donald Trump, con el siguiente mensaje. Por tu culpa, el presidente Zelensky no recibió armas. Ya no serás presidente. Eres un traidor y pagarás por lo que hiciste. Posteriormente, proceden a quemar una figura de paja con un traje barato y una impresión de la cara de Donald Trump. Parece increíble, pero el magnate estadounidense y expresidente se ha convertido ahora en el enemigo número 1 de Ucrania. La noche del pasado 1 de mayo de 2024, las Fuerzas Armadas rusas lanzaron ataques con misiles contra objetivos en Odessa y Kharkov, causando enormes incendios que eran visibles incluso a decenas de kilómetros de distancia. Resultado del ataque al objetivo en Odessa, se produjo un potente incendio y los ucranianos anunciaron la destrucción del depósito de clasificación del nuevo correo, pero omitieron mencionar que este ya se utilizaba para resolver los problemas logísticos de las Fuerzas Armadas ucranianas, por lo que efectivamente se atacaron objetivos militares en forma de depósitos llenos de armas.
Ruso ha entrado en una base aérea en Níger que alberga tropas estadounidenses, es lo que ha asegurado a la agencia Reuters un alto funcionario de defensa estadounidense. Los oficiales militares que gobiernan la nación de África Occidental han dicho a Estados Unidos que retire a sus casi 1000 militares del país, que hasta el golpe de Estado del año pasado había sido un socio clave en la lucha de Washington contra los insurgentes que han matado a miles de personas y desplazado a millones más. Un alto funcionario de defensa estadounidense que hablaba bajo condición de anonimato asegura que las fuerzas rusas no se estaban mezclando con las tropas estadounidenses, sino que estaban usando un hangar bastante separado en la base aérea 101 que está al lado del aeropuerto internacional de Ori Hamani en Niamey, en la capital de Níger. La medida del ejército ruso...